Hey boys and girls, welcome back to Mr. Herring's 5th grade online learning. Today we are continuing our data unit once again with stem and leaf plots. So we've done dot plots and bar graphs and frequency tables. Today we are going to continue and learn about stem and leaf plots. A couple of questions I want you guys to think about while we are working through this lesson is one, how can you display data on a stem and leaf plot? And two, can we use decimals or mixed numbers on a stem and leaf plot? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Think about today's objective. Today we will use stem and leaf plots to represent different sets of categorical data. We will then use our stem and leaf plots to analyze that data. So what this means is we're going to make a stem and leaf plot and we're going to read a stem and leaf plot, answer questions about that dot plot or that stem and leaf plot, excuse me. All right, so let's go ahead and get started on that. So first of all, let's fill in some notes from today. So we are going to say a stem and leaf plot shows groups of data arranged by place value. This is really important, okay? The word place value is extremely important in this question. The stem and the leaf are separated based on their place value. So the most common stem and leaf is a tens and ones place value difference. So in a stem and leaf plot, the number in the tens place is the stem, which is written before a line, and the number in the ones place is the leaf, which is written after the line. So think about it like this. If I have the number 15, 15, the 1 is my stem, that's a tens place, and the 5 is my leaf, it's the ones place. It's separated by tens and ones. They're not all separated by tens and ones, but this example is. And every stem and leaf plot has a key, which tells me how to interpret the plot. So in this case, if I have 1/5, that means the number 15. If I had the number 0/5, it would equal the number 5. If I had the number 115, 11/5, that means 115. And that question I posed in the entry slide, what if I had 2.5 and it equaled 2 6/10? That tells me that this is the whole number now, not the tens place. Okay, hope that makes sense. This key tells me how to read this stem and leaf. All right. Okay, so let's look at an example here. 81. If I have 81, the key for that would be 8/1. The 8 would be the stem, and the 1 would be the leaf. Okay, so let's do a little practice here. So write a title for the stem and leaf. The title here is Ages of Customers Buying Squishies. No idea what a squishy is. So I'm going to title it Ages of Customers. Okay, so I'm going to look at all my stems first. My stems in this situation are tens and my leaves are going to be the ones place because I notice that all of them are double digit or less. So I've got a 1 in the stems place, I've got a 2. Ooh, here's a single digit number. What is in the tens place on these numbers? They're not written there, but it's understood that I have a 0 that is right. So that means my stems are 0, 1, and 2. Those are all my stems. So now let's fill in all the leaves for those stems. So all the zeros, and we always write them in order from least to greatest. So my lowest number in my table here is 6. So I have a 0, 6, I have a 0, 7, and I have a 0, 8. Okay, then look at all my stems for the 10. I've got a 0 for 10, another 0 for 10, a 13, a 3 for 13, and a 4 for 14. And last but not least, I have a stem of 2 and a leaf of 2 ones here, 21 and 21. All right. Now, when I create a key for this problem, a key, I always use the first stem and leaf. So in this case, I'd have 0/6 equals the number 6. On a test, you may have any example in the stem and leaf, but I always, when I make my own key, I always use the first stem and leaf. The last thing I want to draw your attention to is the word mode. Mode is the number occurring most often. So in my data over here, what number do you see most often? And I see this number right here, which is the number 10. And I also see this number right here, which is the number 21. So in this case, my mode is 10 and 21. It happens most often. Okay? So let's look at it from a different perspective here. What if I gave you these stem and leaves, but I didn't give you all of the information? Could you completely fill it in? I bet you could. First thing we start with is our title. In this case, we have miniature golf scores. My stems are 5, 6, and 7. I think there are some other stems. Here, my 7, 6, oh, I have an 8. 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, 7, 9. There we go. So I have more stems to add. So let's go through and get all the 50s out of the way. I see a 53, which is already here for us. And I don't see any other 50s. So let's go in and get all the 60s. I see a 60. I see a 62. Looking through there, 67, 72, 67, 65, 69. So 65 will be next. Then a 67, another 67, a third 67, 69, and that's it. Then we go on to 70s. A 72 is already written for us. Now I have a 76 and a 78. So 76 and a 78. And then the 80s, there's an 80, maybe a 0, an 82, and then a 97. Now the last thing I want to do is check. If I look up here, I count all these numbers. These are the total number of leaves I should have. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So down here, this number should equal 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I can already tell that I'm missing one. So if I go back through, I'm going to go back through here and see what number did I leave off, which is a good example here. So 53, I have it. 60, I have that one. 62, I have that one. 65, 67, 67, 67, 69, and then 72, 76, 78, 80, 82. Oh, there's the one missing right there. 81 is the one we were missing. So I add a 1 right there, give me 81. Now I have 15 numbers. Now it checks. Now 53 represents what number? 53. So now let's find the mode. The mode in this data is this right here, these 3 sevens, which represents the number 67. All right, good. Now finally, how Jeremy would find the mode of his golf scores. How would he find the mode? He would just find the number that happens most often, which is my mode 67. Okay? So let's think about this. If 4/1 is a key for 40 and 4 and 1/10, what is the key for 2 and 3/10? You're right, it should be 2/3. What if I gave you 2 and 3/4? What would the key be for that? It would be 2/3/4. Okay? Alright guys, that's how you do a stem and leaf. If you have any questions, please feel free to come and see me. I'll be in my room. Have a great evening and good luck.